Hey Edge kids, good morning. I hope you're all having a great day so far. We are starting a brand new theme for August today, and it's called Indescribable. We're going to be looking at creativity and how our Creator has no limits. Do you guys like the new stage? Did you see that? We're going to be talking more about that in the next weeks, okay? Today, I have a little experiment for you. I want you to do what I did right here and mix a bunch of colors that you like together. And then I want you to name it something totally new and unique to you. Mine here is what I would call ocean or under the sea, maybe? I love the colors of the water in the ocean, and that is what inspired the colors that I used here. I would love to see what you come up with, so feel free to share. We're going to do a dance now. We're going to get up and go dance, and then we're going to hear about someone whose imagination and creativity are completely unlimited. Bye, guys.
Spinning. You made the ocean and everything in it, and you made the sky so blue, and you made every other color too. You made the sun, you keep it shining. You put the moon up in the midnight sky, and everything around me created by you only. I just wanna thank you, 'cause everything you made is so beautiful. Every single star and every beat of my heart, and it's beautiful. You made my feet, you made my hands, you made me sing and you make me dance, 'cause your love is all around me, and your love is so astounding. I just wanna thank you, 'cause everything you made is so beautiful. Every single star and every beat of my heart, and it's beautiful. Here we go, break it down now. Everything you created with your imagination is wonderful and good, wonderful and good. You're my inspiration beyond all explanation. You're wonderful and good, you're wonderful and good. Everything you created with your imagination is wonderful and good, wonderful and good. You're my inspiration beyond all explanation. You're wonderful and good, you're wonderful and good. I just wanna thank you, 'cause everything you made is so beautiful. Every single star and every beat of my heart, and it's beautiful. I just wanna thank you, 'cause everything you made is so beautiful. Every single star and every beat of my heart, and it's beautiful.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story. Inspired by the book of Genesis, chapters 1 and 2.
In the beginning, the very beginning, before the first breath, before the first flash of color, before the first moment in time, there was nothing. Nothing. Nothing except God. But when God saw nothing, He saw a blank canvas. He saw the perfect backdrop for a work of art beyond imagination. So, God created. From absolutely nothing, He brought forth the heavens and the earth. But there was no shape or form. God's Spirit hovered over the dark emptiness. Then, God called out,
"Let there be light."
Brilliant light shattered the darkness like golden trumpets on a still morning. Bright rays shimmered and danced in all the hues of the rainbow. God saw the light was good. He divided the light from the dark, calling the light day and the darkness night. Evening and morning together shaped the very first day of all time. Then God said,
"Let there be a huge space between the waters. Let it separate water from water."
By His words alone, God shifted the waters, leaving a vast arching space above, the sky. Evening and morning rolled past, the second day. God lifted His voice again.
"Let the water under the sky be gathered into one place. Let ground appear."
Dry land shrugged its way out of the water. Islands and vast continents and gritty deserts and towering mountains. God called the dry ground land, and He called all the gathered waters seas. But God had even bigger plans for this day.
"Let the land produce plants, and let there be trees on the land."
In moments, tall grasses unfurled across the plains, and giant redwoods shot up from the dirt. Flowers and grapevines and carrots and corn sprouted and flourished. God saw that all of it was good. That evening and morning closed out the third day.
"Let there be lights in the huge space of the sky. Let them separate the day from the night."
At the sound of God's voice, the blazing sun exploded into being. The silvery moon spun out. Stars and galaxies flooded into space, filling the universe. Pew, pew, pew. God set the sun to rule the day, and the moon to rule the night. And God saw it was good. That evening and morning made up the fourth day. But God wasn't done painting His masterpiece just yet.
"Let the seas be filled with living things. Let birds fly above the earth and across the huge space of the sky."
Instantly, the seas and rivers and ponds writhed with dolphins and octopi, salmon and minnows. Eagles soared and bluebirds nested, while ostriches stretched their long necks. God saw they were good. That evening and morning formed the fifth day. But God kept working on His creation.
"Let there be livestock and creatures that move along the ground and wild animals."
At once, animals of every kind appeared. Elephants thundered through the forests, and squirrels darted up tree trunks. Monkeys chattered, and pigs rolled happily in the mud. God saw it was all good. But He had one more creation in mind.
"Let us make human beings so that they are like us. Let them rule over the fish and the birds. Let them rule over all the animals."
Then, with His own hands, God formed the very first man and the very first woman, Adam and Eve.
I'm me. And you are you.
And this place? It's beyond words.
Unlike the animals, God made people in His image to reflect Him.
"Have children and fill the earth. Rule over the fish and the birds and every living creature. I am giving you every plant on the earth for food."
God looked over everything He had created and saw that it was very good. That evening and morning were the sixth day. And on the seventh day, God rested. His work was finished. His glorious creation was complete. But because God had formed people in His image, they too could reflect His imagination and creativity. The possibilities ahead of them were endless.
Good morning, Edge kids. It is super duper hot out this Sunday, so I hope you guys are having some water balloon fights or hopping in some water and enjoying your day. I miss you guys, but I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. So in our story today, it's amazing to think of how creative God really is. He thought of sloths and eagles, glaciers and deserts, strawberries and chocolate, which I love, not to mention the vast universe that we've only just started to understand. But there was one part of God's creation that he valued more than anything else. Listen to this part again. From Genesis 1, verse 27, God created human beings in his own likeness. He created them to be like himself. God created us in his image. He created us to be like him. Everything that's good in us comes from who? From him. There's no limit to his creativity, and if we pay attention, we can see his creativity at work in us. And remember, God didn't just create us. He wants a relationship with each one of us. That's why he sent his son, Jesus, to be our Savior. God wants a relationship with you, which is why he created you. God is indescribable. But when we can get to know him, because we can see all the amazing things he made, and he made a lot. There's no limit to God's creativity. Say that with me, guys. There's no limit to God's creativity. So take time to look around all the things God has created and thank God for it all. As you pay attention to God's creativity, you'll start to notice the creativity God gave you too. As you head into this week, I want to challenge you to discuss that more with your parents or with us. I love you guys, and God bless.
Good morning, Edge Kids. Thanks for joining us today. I have an awesome thing to share with you today. We are going to be making chalk paint today, which is super cool. It's going to be like a liquid in our cups, but when you paint it on the ground, it's going to look like chalk when it dries. So it's going to be so cool. When we do it, all you need is some water and some cups. So I put 2 tablespoons of water in each of my cups, and then we're gonna put cornstarch in it to make our mixture, our chalk mixture. So cornstarch, you need 1 tablespoon in each of the cups. So 2 tablespoons of water and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch for each cup. And each cup I'm going to make a different color. So I picked out 3 different colors for my chalk today. I have blue, green, and pink. So I'm gonna put a couple drops of pink in my first cup. A couple drops of green in my second cup. And a couple drops of blue in my third cup. And then I am going to mix those really well together with the end of my paintbrush. So I'm just going to give them a good stir for each of them. Make sure the food coloring is all mixed up. And then after they're all stirred up is when you add your 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to each one. So 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to my pink, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to my green, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to my blue cup. And then after we add the cornstarch, we are again going to take our paintbrush, the back end, and we're going to stir those up. It's going to be a little thick at the beginning, but once you keep stirring, then the cornstarch dissolves in the water pretty well. So stir that up. And when it's stirred in pretty well, it's gonna have like this chalky look to it. So the paint is going to look like that. So then I am going to stir my green and my blue. All right, and now so they're all stirred up. So now they're ready to go. So after you stir them up, pick your paintbrush and pick out the color you're going to use. I'm going to use pink first, and then you just start painting with it. So when it goes on at first, it's going to look pretty thin and kind of like super wet, and then when it dries, it's gonna look more like chalk. So you gotta wait a few minutes after you paint it on for it to get the full chalk effect. And then I'm going to use my green. What should I make with my green? What do you guys think? You guys are pretty artsy, aren't you? Let's see. I'm going to do a butterfly. That's a good one. There's my butterfly. And then I'm going to draw one more thing with my blue paint. What should we draw today with the blue? I'm going to write. Let's see if we can write a word with it. See how well that works. So, as you can see, my pink heart is starting to dry really well. And you can see it's starting to look more like chalk. And my blue is starting a little bit too. My green is taking a little bit longer, but we'll see how that looks after it's done. So I'm gonna let it dry for a few more minutes. I'm gonna paint a couple more things and then we'll see how it turns out, okay? So there you have it. Look, my blue is drying really well. It kind of starting to look like the pink now, and now it really looks like chalk. And my butterfly over here is drying too, so that is starting to look like chalk. It's turning out super awesome. So I'm so glad I got to share this with you guys today, and I hope you really enjoy it, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I bet you will have beautiful, elaborate sidewalks and driveways at your houses, and get out there and enjoy the sunshine. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a good rest of your Sunday, guys. See you next time.